What have you learned specifically about sort of that game within a game of preparing for specific pass rushers on a week-to-week basis and what they do?
Yeah, it's just like different teams have different plans for like how they're going to rush the passer. Like it's not always just go beat this guy one on one. Like a lot of times, the whole D line or defense will work together. And so for me, it's kind of been able to see like, oh, this team like does this, so we have to set as a unit differently. And it's not just like me like trying to game plan one specific person. It's kind of like the whole D line.
So how much more in the NFL, how many more like games and stuff do offensive or defensive linemen do than you would see in college? Is it way more?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the team. Like some of them barely do any, and some of them do a lot. And so I'd say like the speed of them and like sometimes the complexity of like how it all fits together is a bit more. But overall, like I'd say it's pretty balanced with college.
Takes on that last drive on Sunday as an offensive lineman to be able to do that. You guys did the same thing in Washington. Just that sense in that huddle, what that's like as that's building and the clock's going down and you're moving down the field.
Yeah, I mean, really just, it's like now or never. Like this is what the game is going to be determined by if we can get that first down over and over again. So it's really cool because you get to take on the mindset of like, okay, like the game's under our control. Like as long as we do what we're supposed to do, like we're going to be fine. And I've noticed like within this team, everyone always has full confidence that we're going to do what we need to do. It's never like, oh, panic. Like when the game is in our control, like we have a lot of confidence.
How do you feel like your relationship with Matt Filer has kind of grown in these first few weeks?
I'd say a good amount. Like, when I first came in, it was like, oh, I'm the rookie. Like, I'm just going to shut up and listen to everyone. And, like, now it's like a little bit more of like a dialogue going on. So it's definitely grown, and those guys have been so helpful.
Rashawn, in the last week of Philadelphia, I don't think you guys allowed a sack on Herbert. What did you guys do, I guess, right in that game to kind of maybe limit the pressure on that really good front seven in Philly?
Yeah, I mean, we just knew that, key to the game was going to be protecting him because when he's protected and even when he's not really, he's doing great things. Like, you saw what his stats were just unbelievable. So, I mean, yeah, we were just focused and on the same page and had a good plan.
Rashawn, I think the Vikings have 27 sacks already this year. What have you seen on film from those edge rushers specifically?
They're extremely talented. They can win in multiple different ways and really just high effort throughout the game. Like, it's very physical. So we got to be ready for that.
Just with Matt in the running game specifically, what goes into sort of developing the chemistry that you guys have? Because the team's having a ton of success running behind you two right now.
I think just trust in each other and the scheme, and also just, tons of experience and reps, like every day. That's something we work every day is double teams. Like there isn't a day that goes by that we aren't working on that. And I think as the season goes along, like we're starting to just, get used to exactly how it's supposed to look like and feel.
It feels like every rookie has that moment where they're like, oh, I belong here. Do you feel like you kind of had that moment yet?
Yeah, I think so. I think I kind of came in camp where it was like, all right, well, I haven't played football in a while. Like, how's this going to go? And, like, you just have confidence, but until you actually, like, get a chance to go execute, that's when you're like, okay, like, I got it. Now let's keep going.
You've gotten to face Myles Garrett, a lot of really top pass rushers. How do you feel like you've kind of done against them so far?
I don't know. I kind of always like to look at what I can improve upon. And so I know there's a couple things against Myles. Like, I definitely could do better. Like, I could stay more square. I could have a better anchor on some reps. And so it's like, for me, it's always like, I don't know. I just feel like I could do better going forward. Like, I just get excited for the next time I go against them.
There's 17 games in this season, and typically at Northwestern you'd probably be wrapping up November and getting ready for a bowl game. Is that rookie wall thing overrated, or do you feel like, wow, we got 9 more games left?
I think it's a little overrated. It just goes by so quickly. Like, literally, I was just thinking, like, oh, shoot, we have a game in 3 days. Like, it literally, just week after week, it kind of flies by because we're in the same loop of preparing, and then, like, you rest a little bit, and then it's go time. And so for me, thankfully, like, I feel pretty good at this point physically, and I'm excited for what's to come.
Rashawn, one thing that's shown up for you in pass protection is just your ability to recover. Like, even when you do get beat, you can anchor down even against, bull rushers and talented pass rushers. What goes into that for you? Where does that come from? That ability to recover and sort of show that strength after getting beat initially.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about it is just staying balanced. Like one guy who I've studied a lot is Zach Martin, and he's like always balanced. Like you'll never see him out of position. And so I kind of try to take that from him is just like, even if you get beat, if you're balanced, you can usually recover.
Rashawn, I think on that run that Herbert had for the first time, you made somebody flip over. When you have a place like that, you pancake somebody, does that pretty much fire you up, or do you watch it on film or replay, or how do you feel when you have a place like that?
I feel good. I mean, what can I say? But I mean, for me, it's more about just like, okay, like, I don't know, what can I do better?
When you're watching a play like that on tape, I'm sure you want to give Herbert a lot of time to throw the ball, but when he has a hole that big to run and do it himself, is that for you as a line, you don't fire to feel good? Or we do something like it, we have a big lane to go pretty much untouched.
Yeah, 100%.
You obviously you're a rookie, and before the draft process, you said that you were really impressed with what the Chargers were building. Now that you're a part of it, what are your feelings about the organization? And obviously, having Justin as your quarterback.
I wouldn't want to have anyone else. Like, if you look at us, I feel like it's so clear where we're headed, and we've gotten better and better each game. I feel like, and we're just gonna keep going. So I feel like it's a really good spot to be in, and I'm excited.
What kind of influence have Frank Smith and Sean Surratt had on you so far this season in your rookie year?
They've been awesome. I always feel like I can ask them any question. Like, there's never this like, oh, am I gonna look stupid? Like, those guys will go out of their way to help, and they've been a huge help in just like helping me feel comfortable and confident.